Greetings, mindful educators. Thanks for coming back. All right, we're going to get to lesson 4. What is your superpower? How to develop our 5 senses of sound, sight, smell, touch, and taste. And the quote of this chapter is by W.B. Yeats. The world is full of magic things, patiently waiting for our senses to grow sharper. I love that. It's a great reminder to always have beginner's mind, so you can just look for the surprises in your day. All right, so again, we're going to do a mindful check-in, and we'll just start. Hello, mindful learners. How are you all today? Give me a thumbs up to if you are feeling good, or so-so, or sick. This gives the students a chance to express themselves non-verbally. You can do the check-in in 3 ways: emotionally, physically, and mentally. So I might say, how's your mind doing right now? Is it busy or still? How's your body doing right now? Is it feeling good? I've got a little sore hip, so I'm going to say it's kind of like this today. And how you feel? How's your emotions? You feeling happy? I'm actually feeling pretty happy today. Excited about working with all of you. So yeah, so see how physically I have a different point of view. Mentally, I have a different point of view, and emotionally, I have a different point of view, a different setting, if you will. Good. And then you can say, do you have a calm or a busy mind? You can say, is your heart beating fast or slow? Do you feel warm or cold? Just kind of do a nice body scan if you want. Excuse me. No matter how we are feeling, let's give ourselves a big hug. And what's cool about hugs, someone told me just a couple months ago, is that the body doesn't know if someone else is giving you a hug or you're giving yourself a hug. So just these pressure points, and you could even do tapping if you wanted, really helps calm the mind and the body down. You know, if you have a dog, sometimes the dog or the cat will come up to you and just want to be touched. So I feel like we also need that. We just don't have the the ability to really notice what that feels like. You know, yeah, I feel like I need a hug, but what does that feel like in the body? Good. Excellent. All right. So now let's even shake our shoulders. Let's try that. Shake our shoulders and our arms and our legs. Wiggle your toes. And that might help us make us feel a little bit better if we want. All right. So we can notice that our mind's thoughts can either be used or not, right? We can have a thought and we can either use it, we can jump onto it, or we can just go, oh, there you are, thought. I see you. Or we can just let it float by. And that choice is up to us. You can choose to roll around on the floor, or you can choose not to. Your puppy mind doesn't run the show. You do. All right, so last time I was here, we memorized our mindful poem. Do you remember that? And did anyone try practicing it while we were away? Good, a few of you, excellent. All right, so let's say the poem together. Then I will see if anyone would like to volunteer to say the whole thing. Don't worry, I will help you if you get stuck. All right, so I'll do the poem and then we'll just kind of go over what would happen if we did have volunteers coming up. All right, here we go. Take a breath and wiggle your toes and begin when you're ready. With this breath, my mind grows stronger so I can focus a little longer. I breathe in through my nose and out through my mouth. That's what focus time is all about. Good. So then I would invite one kid up, or sometimes I even bring up two at a time and we go back and forth. So this person might say, with this breath, and then this person might say, my mind grows stronger so I can focus a little longer, etc. And I've even brought in three people up, and the third person says, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, depending on where we are in the poem. That's pretty tricky, but it can work. It's not always advisable, but just to throw that into your consciousness. Great. All right, so now I'm going to look for a mindful learner to take care of this puppy. Now, this is a new part of the lesson. I usually bring a puppy yeah, he wants to look at you, to the class. And some puppetry skills here is, don't just have the puppy in the air because it looks like you're being mean to him. Give him a place to hang out, right? And then just have your hand on the back of his neck and just kind of, you can turn him and look him around, and maybe he wants to look down here, and maybe he wants to say hi to you, maybe he wants to lick my ear, whatever. And just really allow the puppy to come alive. You can move his little paws. Look at these little paws. That's one of the reasons why I got him. He's just got these cute little paws. So you can really have fun looking for a puppy. Around Valentine's Day, there tends to be a lot of puppies in like Walgreens and things like that, that are, like $3.99 or $4.99. So just keep an eye out on that. And then I tend to wash him about once a month. And then what else? So I'm going to give this person to can't find it, my roster. Here it is. So I showed you in a previous lesson this roster, and right here you can see that there's a puppy or a bell. And how it works is I'll ask someone on the list if they would like to be the puppy sitter. And the puppy sitter's job is to let the puppy, can't really see him, but I'll pretend he's sitting in my lap. And I just want him to sit in your lap the whole class. So for the next 25 minutes, I just want him to sit in your lap. And if you notice that you are playing with his ears, or he's up on your shoulder or your neighbor's shoulder, I'm gonna remind you. I'll say, oh, look what's happening. Your puppy mind is wandering around. Take a breath and bring him back to sitting in your lap. Great. Just like a baby, like you're taking care of a baby, right? You're just gonna let him sleep in your lap. Good. And you can pet him, but I don't want him being thrown around. And I'll just try to keep reminding you to keep him still. And this is just a great representation of their own puppy mind. So if the puppy is wandering around a lot, we know that this child's puppy mind is very active in this moment. So just something fun to do. And I do this every week, and they're very interested in who is going to be the puppy sitter next. So super sweet. All right, so then, and what I say to them is, see if you can keep it safe and still for the whole class. And I will check in with you to see how the puppy is doing. Great. So then we move on to our first real focus time. It's lesson 4. So I say to them, now I'm looking for someone who is sitting mindfully already and would like to help me lead focus time. And usually I actually just go on the list. So if the puppy sitter is at the top of the list, and then, because I give them a choice. I say, like, if it's Adriana at the top of the list, I'll say, Adriana, do you want to be the puppy sitter or the leader of the class? And usually kids say puppy sitter, not always, but usually. So if she wanted to be the puppy sitter, I would go down to the bottom of the list and ask that person if they would like to be the leader of the class. And then eventually I just keep moving up and up and up, or down and down and down, until the two people meet, and then we just keep switching and go up. So Adriana eventually becomes the leader of the class. All right. So I bring up the child who I selected, and I ask them to put the bell in their hand. And I've said this before, but I really like a rubber dowel rather than a wooden dowel because it sounds, I have a wooden dowel right here. Listen to the sound. There's that. And then there's this. See the difference? There's such a nice rounded sound. And you never want kids going, ooh, I don't like that. You know, that's not the point of this. So really find a bell that you like or a sound on an app that you like that has a nice rounded sound and go from there. Good. So this person would be holding the bell and I would just whisper in their ear these phrases. Please allow your eyes to close. So allow your eyes to close. And then I also would say to the group, and if that doesn't feel comfortable, just look down at a point on the floor. Or you could even cover your hands like this, like that, so they feel safe, because that's a nice protective measure. So if one of your friends is bugging you, you feel like you've got a little bit of a shield up. So that can be nice too. And then I'll say, please bring your hand to your belly. And please sit up nice and tall like your favorite superhero. So nice relaxed belly, but nice tall spine. And let's breathe in together once. And I'll ring the bell. Breathing in 2. Breathing in 3. And notice how your breath feels going into your body. Can you feel the air entering? Can you feel it leaving your lungs? Does the air feel cold going in your nose? And does it feel warm going out your mouth? If you feel like your mind starts wandering or daydreaming, just come back to your breath. Good. Let's just keep breathing. And I'll ring the bell a few more times. Breathing in, wiggling your toes, wiggling your fingers. Breathing in 8. We try to sit for about 1 to 2 minutes. Usually 1 minute is all I try to get them to do in the beginning. Great. And when you're ready, open your eyes. And I usually ask them, how was that? Was that hard or easy today? And some kids might say, oh, that was hard. And I'll say, what was hard about it? And they might say, oh, my friend was distracting me, or someone was distracting me. And I'll just say, yeah, that happens. Some days are harder than others. Good. All right, so now we get into the story time part. So I'll say to them, all right, superheroes in training, today we're going to learn to be mindful of our 5 senses. Who can name one of our 5 senses? So like smelling is one of the senses. What else is another sense? Hearing, good. Tasting, touching, and sight, sound, smell, touch, and do we do taste? I think we did taste. Sight, sound, smell, touch, taste. There we go. So I'm going to read you a story called What is Your Superpower? And it is about developing or increasing our 5 senses. Would you like to hear it? All right, great. All right, and it says, plan on stopping after each section to see what students noticed. So just keep that in mind. What is your superpower? What is your superpower? Can you tell? One of mine is my sense of smell. When I breathe in, I feel my nostrils flare. I notice the sweet smells in the air. The whiff of waffles might greet my nose. I might sense the scent of a rose. Do you think you can smell the rose? Just imagine. Use your imagination. Good. What if you smell your clothes or your hand? Is there a fragrance? Or is it bland? I definitely smell fabric, softener, things like that. And I can smell a little of my breakfast. Good. What about you? Great. Got some things. Good. Now that I have shown you how, what pleasant smell can you smell right now, or can you sense right now? Let's take a moment to see what pleasant smells we can sense. What fragrance do you smell? Do you smell anything in this room? I might smell bread. I made some bread earlier. But there's all sorts of, and then of course I say, remember, sometimes it's not kind to mention unpleasant smells when you're with other people. Sometimes people say, farts, but that's actually really, really rare, surprisingly. You'd think it would be all the time. So good. Now, what smells can you imagine? What smells can you imagine? Oh, I smell pancakes, or I smell chocolate chip cookies, or pizza, right? All right, let's keep going. Or is this your superpower? How much can you really hear? Give it a try. There's nothing to fear. Use your superpowers. Use your super ears to go far away. Can you hear a car go on its way? Let's listen. How about a bird chattering to a friend? What else can you hear around the bend? What other sounds can your ears meet? Can you hear your own heartbeat? I kind of think I do. I almost feel like I sense it. I feel it more than I hear it, but I might be hearing it. Now that I've shown you how, what sounds can you hear right now? So let's just listen really quiet. Let's get the room really quiet. Oh, I'm hearing a bus. And let's just raise our hand when we hear one or two things. And then I'll call on you once we do it. Good. Great. So I might call on them and they might say, I hear my brother in the other room. I hear the TV on, the refrigerator's making a sound. I heard my stomach gurgle, whatever. Good. And I try to pause for 20 seconds, 10, 20 seconds. Great. All right, let's keep going. Perhaps this is your superpower, your power of sight. What can you see with all your might? If you look far outside this room, what can you see with your telescopic zoom? Now look at something in this place. What do your super eyes notice in this space? Is there something cool that's really near that you have never even noticed here? Now that I've shown you how, what's the brightest color you see right now? So in this stanza especially, you can really stop at each stanza. So if you look far outside this room, what do you see with your telescopic zoom? So we can just all stop right here and just look outside the window. And what do you see? Like I see, I think it's some sort of fruit tree. And it looks like it has a bird on it, but I don't think it's a bird actually, after all. I see gray sky. There's just all sorts of things we see, right? So you can ask your kids what they're seeing. Good. And then look inside the room. What do you see? I see a little crystal kind of rainbow thing that makes prisms around the room when it's sunny. In this room, the brightest color is probably my orange thermos. Yeah, good. All right. So then we keep going. All right. Oh, then this is a fun one that I do before the next stanza. And I say, now let's take a moment and see if we can notice something that we have never seen before in this room. I don't know if that's possible for me because I'm in this room so much, but I'm sure there's something. I don't know. I'd have to look. But anyway, so think about that. It could be the sprinkler on the ceiling. Could be a picture you've never seen. Great. All right. And then this is the next one. What if this is your superpower? Your power of touch. Go ahead and clasp your hands like this. Do you feel much? I do. I feel warmth, tightness. Yeah, good. Now, slowly trace your hand with your pointer finger. This is your pointer finger. Go slow, but keep moving so you don't linger. Does it tickle a little bit? It does me. Yeah. Can you feel where it's cold on your hand and where it's warm? Good. Now I want you to run your fingers through your hair like this. Do you notice how you can move the air? Do you feel how the wind is going by your ears? I can feel a little wind going through my ears just by doing this motion. Good. Now, what if you tap your arms and shoulders? Are they hard, like rock hard boulders? And what if you pat your legs and your feet? What sensations do you meet? How did it feel to tap your bodies? Did it feel nice, funny, strange? Do you feel more awake? Less awake? Yeah, what else did you feel? Did you feel tingling in your hands when you were tapping your body? Put out your hands like this. Do you feel any tingling still from when you were tapping your body? I do. It's kind of warm and cold at the same time and a little tingly, almost like little tiny pinpricks. Good. All right, a couple more. And this, by the way, I've never done it this way, but I have recommended that people just do two of their senses if you feel like you're losing your audience. So just do two of your senses, and then you can come back the next week to the others, or just move on. It's up to you. Could this be your superpower? Is it your power to taste? Or do you let the flavors of food just go to waste? I'm guilty of this, by the way. I eat very fast. I try to slow down, but it's challenging. Do you remember eating something yummy? What did it feel like in your tummy? I'm guessing it felt good, right? Did you feel full and happy, comfortable, safe? Yeah. How did it taste on your lips? Did you eat it with your fingertips? I'm thinking of pizza, eating pizza with my fingertips. When we really appreciate our food, we are filled with joy and gratitude. The next time you eat your favorite food, notice that slowing down, and this is true, can change your mood. Watch your taste buds be surprised by all the flavors that are inside, right? If you chew that pizza really slow, you can feel the cheese and the oil and the bread all coming together, right? Oh, such a good feeling to taste all those delicious foods. Good. And who wants to share what they ate this morning or what their favorite breakfast food is? I do that because I don't want to single out kids that maybe didn't get breakfast. And if someone didn't have breakfast, you can always say, yeah, sometimes I don't have breakfast either. So it normalizes a little bit. I think if they think they're the only person on the planet that didn't have breakfast, that can be a trauma. So if you just say, yeah, actually, intermittent fasting is a really good thing for the body. We don't want to always have food in our stomachs. Not to say all that, but just that's my belief is, why eat first thing in the morning if you don't have to? Little aside there. All right, good. And then we go around and we find out what their favorite food is or what they had this morning. All right, let's finish up the story before we get too hungry. Now that we have explored what your superpower might be, Do you think you could have all five like me? Remember, even if you might have a sense that is gone, like your sight or your hearing, um, with practice, those other senses can grow super strong. If we use our senses just a little bit more, I know there will be so much more to explore. If we work hard every day, I can tell you can learn to use your senses super well. The end. In the story, what was the person's superpower? That was kind of a trick question, wasn't it? How many did he have? Did this person have? Did they have one, or did they have? That's right, five. Can you name them? Sound, sight, smell, touch, and taste and touch. Very good. Excellent. Wonderful. Has anyone, do you think most of us have our five senses? Yeah. Has anyone ever met anyone who could not see or hear? I have. My parents were both deaf, so I know about this one. Did you know that if you lose one sense, your other senses get stronger and you become more aware of those other senses? Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Yeah, your brain wants to make sure you're safe, so it really heightens up those other senses as much as it can. Great. So here's an optional section in the chapter. If we are more mindful, we experience more through our senses. At the beginning of class, I said we could be mindful of anything. I want to focus on just one of our senses with you. We're going to practice mindful listening. We're going to turn up our super hearing and see how much we can really hear. All right, so let's find your mindful posture, sitting up nice and tall like your favorite superhero. And I'd like you to close your eyes or just bring your attention to a spot on the floor. Put your hand on your belly and keeping your eyes closed or looking at that spot on the floor, I want you to look outside this room. I want you to go outside this room and see what you can hear. Do you like what you hear? Does the sound bother you? Just notice it. Good. All right, now let's come into this room. What can you hear just inside this room? Focus on what sounds are in this room. Do you like what you hear? Or does the sound bother you? Just notice it. Good. Now see what you can hear just right around you. Can you hear the movement of a neighbor? The air entering and leaving your nose and mouth? Do you like what you hear, or does the sound bother you? All right, now we're going to try to listen again to our heartbeats and see if we can hear them. Yeah, it's hard for me to hear it. I feel like I can sense it more than I can hear it. Good. All right. So the closing thoughts and a mindful challenge are, now that we have discovered our superpowers, who can tell me what is the difference between superheroes and supervillains? Anyone want to guess? Supervillains haven't learned to think about anyone else but themselves yet. But superheroes have learned to be kind and to take care of people. I want us all to treat each other the way a superhero would, with kindness and to help each other. Today we have learned how to notice our five senses. And here's your mindful challenge until next time. Practice noticing those 5 senses. See if just by focusing, you can make them grow stronger and notice more. Use your breath to focus on what you sense, on what sense you want to experience. So use your breath to focus on what sense you want to experience. So if I'm listening, I'm going to take a deep breath and I'm going to really listen. And if I'm eating, I'm going to take a deep breath and really enjoy my food. Good. So maybe you can practice mindful listening at a park or with a friend, or mindful seeing while watching TV or a movie, or mindful eating when you have a snack. Good. So then I usually do this. I'm going to ring the bell for the last time today. And I ask them to please find their mindful posture and allow their eyes to close. You can put your hand on your belly button again. Take 3 breaths in. Notice how your breath feels going into your body, breathing in again. Does it feel warm or cold? Can you feel the air swirl around your lungs? And when you can no longer hear the sound of the bell that I'm about to ring, I just want you to quietly raise your hand. Here we go. Great. Beautifully done. Now without shifting too much, just gently open your eyes. That was very good. Most of you raised your hands. You are good listeners. So the next time I'm going to visit, we're going to try to do focus time just a little bit longer to train our puppy minds, right? And you were all so good at it that next time I know we're just going to get better and better at it with time. Practice makes progress. And when I'm here next time, I'm going to see who remembered to practice noticing your 5 senses. Thank you for being such a kind and focused class. See you. Remember, practice makes progress. Good. All right, so this next lesson is lesson 5, which is called Just Stop and Breathe. How we can notice our feelings and then peacefully proceed. All right, thank you all so much for your kind attention, and I will see you in the future. All right, bye-bye. Be well.